Welcome to another episode of CIOtv. I'm your host, Mike Stockwell, and today I'm joined by Rao Tadepalli from Digitran Technologies, the CEO based in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the show, Rao.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being a part of this. Much like with all of our guests on the show, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization at Digitran?
Absolutely. About myself, I spent probably close to 30 years in the IT, services industry slash more specifically in the insurance industry. I have been a CIO for 12 years out of, the overall 30 years I spent in the IT industry, so to speak. For the last few months, I have been basically providing a lot of technology services in the insurance and innovation area under the umbrella of Digitran Technology. But majority of my experience has been actually as a CIO for large insurance companies. And, I have a lot of things I believe that can be useful for my fellow CIOs. And I'm really excited to be on this podcast.
Awesome. That is an extensive background there with 30 years in the industry and being a CIO for 12 of those. One thing that you just mentioned there around, some things that would be important for the CIO community. Can you expound on that? Maybe talk about a couple things that you think CIOs should be looking at today?
Absolutely. First and foremost, one of the things that almost like every year, some of the surveys highlight is about the lack of alignment, between business and IT. That has been a problem for a long, long time. So the CIOs must make sure the IT is aligned with the business, because at the end of the day, IT is a service function within a company and helping company accomplish their goals and objectives. So IT always has to be aligned with the business. Sometimes even you need to reflect your IT organization to be in the same lines as the functional organizations. Like if you take an insurance company, you have departments like claims, underwriting, marketing, accounting. So it would be good if IT organization also has those kind of things. But a lot of IT organizations reflect technology skill set as opposed to the functional skill set. So that is something that worked very successfully to me by aligning the IT department to reflect the same organization of the company. So that's the thing. The second most important thing is executive communication. Once you're a CIO, you need to speak the language of the business. So you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb in the C-level executive suite. So you need to speak business and communicate in a way that business understand, not the tech speak. You can do the tech speak when you talk to your IT group, but once you step out of that and enter the C-suite, you need to basically speak the business language and also understand the business goals and help them in terms of really this thing. And the last thing I would say is really IT is always going to be a cost center. So every other department looks at IT as a group that's spending money. So we mean CIOs, need to basically bring what I call the value metrics. You need to continuously let the C-suite know what value you and your team is bringing to the table. If you don't do that, then you always be looked at as a cost center. And, in fact, one CIO told he's afraid to speak to the CIOs because every time they come to the office, they ask for the money. So that's the perception. So we as CIOs need to go to the C-suite when there's good news and make sure they know the good things you are doing. Everybody knows when something goes wrong. Email goes down, first thing they call the CIO. But if you do something good, then you need to make sure it spreads at the same speed as the bad news. So those are some high-level things I kind of want to share with my fellow CIOs.
Yeah, that was some great information there, and I'm sure our audience will get some great tips and tricks there from was there any silver bullet? If as we got to wrap up here, is there one final thought that you'd like to give to our audience around how you bridge
Well,
that
couple of
gap?
things. Yeah, the bridge that gap is that you need to have a continuous communication with the C-level this thing. You have to have periodic, whether you call steering committee, you need to also do not just formal meetings. You need to develop relationships. You need to go out for lunch. You need to go out for dinner with your other fellow C-level executives, like if it is chief financial officer or chief marketing officer, chief operations officer. These are all your clients or customers, so to speak, internally. So you need to establish relationship. You need to gain their trust, and you need to have more of an informal conversations with them so that they come to you for asking for help, as opposed to just only doing that in a formal setting. So relationships is the most important thing. As a CIO, you cannot sit in the IT group and just kind of think everything is going to be okay. Majority of the time, you need to spend outside of the IT group and with the C-level team, and they need to trust you that you are one of them, as opposed to some tech guy who just kind of speaks jargon and only comes when he needs money. So no, you need to basically be part of the C-level team. And how you become part of the C-level team is you need to get accepted into that, not because you are a CIO, because who you are and what you are bringing to the table and the value proposition that you bring to that. And develop what I call value metrics. Those are the metrics they should measure your performance, not based on cost.
Great information there. I'm sure it will be very valuable to our viewers. And Rao, thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Well, Mike, thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate the time you have taken to speak to me.
Well, that's a wrap. We'll see you next time on CIO TV.